What is up, everybody? My name is Grant Schofstall. I'm an automotive photographer as well as videographer, as well as the owner of a Fiat 500 Abarth right behind me. I was going to do something a little different to this video. I was going to set up a tripod and talk to you guys and then go on a drive, but I forgot the tripod thing for my tripod to put it on and everything. So what's going to happen is we're going to hop inside my car here and we're going to go on a drive, and I'm going to tell you about and finally do a review of my Eibach Sport Pro, whatever. I don't know the actual line. It's the red ones, lowering springs. I'm going to do a review on my lowering springs that I installed a year ago that I never actually talked about. So let's hop in the car here. Let's go on a little drive and we'll give a really, really nice review for these lowering springs. So, Eibach lowering springs. Now, full disclaimer, I do not suggest lowering springs compared to coilovers. I will always suggest coilovers to lowering springs before anything else. Reason being for that is because you have so much more adjustability with, thank you. You have so much more adjustability with coilovers than you do lowering springs. But why did I opt for lowering springs instead of coilovers? Well, one, they're a very budget-friendly option. This is probably gonna be very shaky. I'm gonna try to be gentle with it. And a little bit of the shake there I'm actually gonna talk about a little later, which is ride quality. But first off, why did I even buy lowering springs? Well, the biggest thing I wanted with a set of suspension slash coilovers slash lowering springs is I wanted something cheap, and I wanted something that could work right then and there, install, bam, done. So I went with the Eibach lowering springs for the Fiat 500 Abarth. Now these are a very common and very, very popular option when it comes to these cars. Everybody loves them. I've talked to multiple people now and they've ran lowering springs and they haven't decided, you know what, I'm gonna upgrade the shocks or anything. I'm just gonna run lowering springs. That's how good these are. They very much feel like they were obviously designed for the car, and people just enjoy them. These are a lot of big bumps. So speaking of bumps there, I might as well go into my second topic here, which is ride quality. Well, ride quality wise, what else do you expect you're gonna get from lowering a car that is already kind of sporty and already has that sporty feel? It's gonna be a little bit more rough. It's a little bit of a rough ride in here, I will admit. But that's fine, because as much as that rough ride is terrible at times, it's not like you have a rough ride and you're bouncing or any, like, your rebound rate is messed up. I mean, these lowering springs truly feel like they complement the stock struts perfectly. Now, one thing I've seen people do is they'll replace them with, I think, a set of Coney yellows, the shocks. And those really help. Those do. I've met tons of guys who run Coney yellows on their car with a set of lowering springs. Now, they might not be the same set I'm running, which is the Eibach ones. But yeah, people run them and they really enjoy them. I do too. I kind of want to make a video at some other point in time, not, hey, here's some bumps. Let's go over these bumps so I can show you. It's not terrible. Not terrible at all. Like, it's actually really fine. I'm not like stressing over the fact that I'm going over bumps. I'm like, yeah, I'm used to it. Another disclaimer is the fact that I've had these on for over a year now, so I've gotten quite accustomed to them and I'm quite used to them. Another big bump. But the fact that I'm quote unquote accustomed to them and used to them shouldn't really mean much in terms of how they perform. So let's do some spirited driving here. Not really like going at it, because I do have my winter tires, but let's just let me just tell you what I feel when going around a corner, and that is planted, because there is hardly any body roll anymore. All right, if anybody can link me a good, like a very good suction cup mount that I could use that doesn't want to move every single second, because going around this corner here, it wants to move. But we'll continue the video. But yeah, we'll go right here, it's chicken. But they feel very good. Like there's still body lean, but there's not rolling lean. It's not like you're driving a truck and you're like, holy shit, I gotta stop that. It's like you're just driving a normal like car and you're like, wow, these feel really good. So we'll go the other way here. And we'll just test them out again. I'm not going hard. I'm not pushing the car too much. I'm just driving it normal. I'm just driving it how I normally would, and I'm just getting a feel for the lowering springs. I'm kind of doing a little ride along to show you how they actually act and how I'm quite comfortable with them. I mean, lowering springs aren't supposed to be super, super rough. They're not supposed to be super, super aggressive. They're supposed to be something you buy when your daily or your only car that you drive every day and you want to completely make it just handle well. You're like, oh, this car, I want it to handle well. So what do? I put some lowering springs on it or coilovers. A set of coilovers that aren't too rough. Now, as I said, I'm gonna do an entire video of coilovers in general, because I kind of feel like it's not my right to do that right now in this video. I just want to give it a review. And honestly, they're really good. I really enjoy them. Now, install-wise, they can be a bit hectic. The rear is super easy. It takes like an hour to do. But where you have issues are the front. Now, people say that you should get a spring compressor, and I will recommend doing a spring compressor. And I did do a spring compressor when taking apart the strut assembly. But you can do it without it. The way the struts are set up, you kind of have to loosen the one bolt. Now these bolts up front, and once I stop, I'll show you some stuff, but they can be a little bit of a pain to do. They're okay, they're fine. They're not like absolutely terrible, but if you have an impact gun, that'll really help. Also, another thing that my car throws a loop at me every time I try to work on it, so I'm kind of used to this by now, but when the two lower strut bolts, they just would not come out. I had to hammer the crap out of them to get them out, unfortunately. So, it sucks, but it's kind of what I had to do, and I did it, and it worked. So, I'm gonna stop here, and I'm gonna wrap up this video because, I mean, there's not much more to talk about. The springs, they handle really well. They're kind of meant for daily use. They're not meant for track use. Though they help with track use, obviously, but they're not 100% designed to be this track weapon type of deal where you can literally go through and you can kick butt at the track or at autocross or something like that. They are designed for driving around town and just designed for sportiness with a little bit of comfortability. Though this is a sporty car, so it's not exactly that comfortable. But for what you're getting for like 200 bucks, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I do highly recommend these lowering springs. I know this isn't sort of a long one and not a very in-depth review, but since I've gotten so accustomed to them over a year of ownership and a year of usage, all I can really say is, yeah, I recommend them. They're good. I mean, compared to the stock wheel gap of a Fiat 500 Abarth, these Eibach lowering springs really help. I mean, I got my Winners on right now and she looks pretty meaty, Get just another view. I mean, this rear right here was 10 times worse. It was literally a foot of clearance on the rear, so it really dropped it. It really dropped it and did a really good job of like making it look very aggressive and very mean, even on like 15-inch wheels I have like now as my winters, or even my 16s I normally drive on my Ant case. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care.